Let's get down to business. You are watching this video because either you are interested in the Young Living opportunity of a business, or perhaps you are already chasing after that goal. Either way, no matter where you stand in your journey, this worksheet is something I want everyone to fill out. The other thing is I made this so it's duplicatable or duplicable. You can use this with your new team builders as they come on board. Anyone that is interested in it, you can go over this with them or send them this video and the PDF so they can print out their own worksheet and get down to business. So here's the thing. I have uploaded 2 of these. One of them is a simple black and white one. The other one is colorful. My husband told me these colors are not man appropriate or man friendly. So you feel free to use the black and white one or develop your own. I don't care what it is, but the information that is on these worksheets is very important. I think all of the sections are things that people need to go over. So I'm going to go over this with you and section by section, and then you are going to be doing this on your own or while I'm doing this video. And hopefully we will all have direction, we'll have goals, we'll have creative ideas, and we will face our fears. So the first thing, I want you to look on that top left corner. Hello, my dream why is. We typically see the hello, my name is in this type A name badge. But this is important in the Young Living business on what your dream or your why is. So why do you want to pursue Young Living as a business? I can tell you why I want to pursue it as a business, but first I'm going to take us through a little role play here. If I put a plank on the floor and I said, Susie Q, I am going to pay you $100 to walk that plank. It's not elevated, you can't fall off of it, it's just flat on the ground. It's an easy $100. I don't know anyone that would pass that up. It's just walk the plank, you make easy money, okay? No reason not to do it. But let's say that I take that plank and I put it 20 stories high in between 2 downtown buildings. So huge buildings, this plank that goes across the building, you have no safety net, no safety harness. I'm going to say, Susie Q, you walk across that plank to the other building and I'm going to give you $100. Susie Q is saying, no, because I have a fear of heights, I have a fear of death, I have a fear of failure. What if I don't make it across? I'm going to die, I would fall 20 stories down to concrete floor. So the fears outweigh the why. The why would be $100 or to get to the other side, but the fears totally outweigh the why, all right? Now let's switch it up. Susie Q, you're on one side of the building. I have this plank that goes to the other side, and you know what? All of your children are on that other side of the building. And you know what else? That building is on fire, and there are no rescue helpers, no fire department around. The only way to save your children is to walk across that plank and get them. I wouldn't even have to pay you $100 because you know what? The why now outweighs your fears. The why is not the $100. The why is rescuing your children, okay? Do you see what I'm saying here? You still have a fear of death. You still have a fear of failure. You still may have a fear of heights. But those fears do not matter because your children are far more important than the fear. So your why of saving your children is more important than your fear. So think of this when you think of the Young Living business or your desire to achieve this goal, to walk the plank and achieve success in Young Living. What is your why? Let me tell you my why. My husband was a fantastic worker and was very dedicated to his work, but it required a lot of his time. He was working 6 days a week, getting up before we got up, and getting home after a normal bedtime for kids. So my kids never saw him. I was very much a single mom. I played the role of a mom, a dad, the disciplinarian, you name it. That was my many hats that I wore. And so I got to the point where my husband would come home from work and my little one, who was 2 at the time, would say, you go to work tomorrow And every day that Dustin, my husband, would say yes, my little one would just start crying and whining and complaining, as he should, because he needed his father around and he didn't have that. I was tired of seeing them cry over birthdays or holidays. I was tired of me crying for the sake that I was a single mom and I didn't have a husband around. So my why was to create enough income so that my husband could have a safety net and walk away from his job and perhaps pursue something else. My why was not money. It was what the money would create. It would create a safety net so that possibly our family could have more time together. So I, at the time, was very busy. I was a homeschool mom, stay-at-home mom, involved in a lot of groups, and I didn't have another way to generate the safety net. Young Living was the way to generate the safety net. And the really cool thing about it was I love Young Living products, and I love helping others, so it fit perfectly. I did not have a plan B. Young Living was it. I had to do it, and I did. So that was my why. You may have a why of something completely different. I don't know what it is, but take a minute to write it down right now, okay? Next up, your fears. I'm in your face about this because I want you to admit what your fears are and write them down. I just totally hit you with that computer, right? Okay, write them down. What are your fears? So I'm going to upload the picture of that box right here. It's going to be right next to the hello, my dream why is. So what are your fears? I can tell you many fears that I faced when I first wanted to pursue the business side and the fears that I continue to face as of now. So here are some to brainstorm with. Do you have a fear of failure? What if I put all this time and energy into this business and it fails? Okay, most people probably have a fear of failure. What about a fear of success? I had a fear of success and still struggle with that sometimes because if this business creates, if it's successful enough, what does that mean for me? Am I going to have to take more time away from my family? Am I going to neglect other areas of my life? What does success look like? So you may be fearful of a fear, having success. What about fear of rejection? I know we all deal with that. We approach someone about the oils or about Young Living and they don't want anything to do with it and you feel rejected. Valid fear. What about fear of what others will think of you? So I know when I started this, I was just really I was so concerned with what are my friends and family going to think when they know that I have joined an MLM company and this is network marketing? What are they going to say about me? Okay. What if, another fear, what if it is fear of not being an expert? So I know many of you out there say when you start, you're like, what if people ask me questions and I don't know how to answer them? What if, and you have all these fears and these obstacles that sometimes make you feel debilitated in this. Write them down. Face your fears. Write them down on paper right now. Now look at your dream, your why, and then your fears. What's bigger? Is your dream bigger or are your fears bigger? This is so important. Really think about this for a minute here because your burning building why needs to be so significant that no obstacle and no fear will stand in its way. All right, your burning building why is so significant that no obstacle is going to stand in your way and no fear is going to debilitate you. Now, we need to move on to the next section of goals. And before we do that, I want you to look at the income disclosure. It's listed right here, okay? This is the income disclosure of 2013 that Young Living put out. If you have not seen this, you need to print it out or save it on your computer. And this is located in your virtual office on Young Living under Member Resources. You will see the income disclosure in there and you can save it or print it out. I actually printed mine out and laminated it so that whenever I go to a business meeting, I can show them this because you need to always be able to provide them the income disclosure. Okay, so on here, it gives you the member ranks, the amount of hours each rank works on average, and what the monthly and yearly incomes are. So look at this right here. I want you to specifically focus on the monthly average income per rank, and then consider your why. So whatever your why is, how much money do you need to be bringing in order to provide that why, to achieve that why? So you have your goal of knowing what rank you need to get to in order for your why to be achieved, in order to receive enough money to make your why possible. So at this point, let's break down the goals even more. Perhaps you need to get to silver or platinum or diamond, whatever it is for you. You can't achieve that tomorrow, but if we take small stepping stones, we can get there. So let's break down our goals and focus on a goal for 1 month, 6 months, and 1 year. You have to decide what those goals are for you. Perhaps you want to sign up a certain amount of people, or you want your check to increase to a specific amount, or perhaps you want to rank up or rank up more than once, or maybe you want your team members to rank up. So whatever that is for you, take a moment and write down those goals. Maybe it's even just saying, I want to schedule 2 classes over the next month, or I want to schedule a certain amount of one-on-one meetings. So, or sign up a certain amount of people. I don't know what it is, but write it down and make sure that these goals are not too lofty. I want you to reach high, but I also don't want you to be unrealistic. So what is it that you can fit into your schedule and make happen? Push yourself a little bit, but make sure that it's still a realistic goal. I am so proud of you. You have done the majority of this worksheet, and especially you've done the hard parts. So you have determined what your dream and your why is. You have faced your fears. You've made sure that your fears do not outweigh your why, because your burning building why is so significant. You are going to achieve this because no fear, no obstacle is going to stand in your way. Then you know which rank you are needing to obtain, and you've broken that down into some smaller goals, some smaller stepping stones. So now, how do you take the step? How do you get to the first goal? How do you get to the second goal? That is your pathway. So you need to take some time to brainstorm that and see, is it going to be in one-on-one classes? Is it going to be on a blogging platform? Perhaps you're going to do some home classes and teach several people at one time. Maybe you're going to do some online Facebook classes. Write down some different ideas on pathways to get there. The next thing you need to consider in the pathway is that ultimately at the end of the day, you are educating others about these oils and this company, and then you need to duplicate that. Teach duplication. Provide them with tools, provide them with encouragement and motivation to do the same thing, because ultimately you will not achieve big success unless you have a team that is duplicating what you're doing, and a team that is going out there and educating others. And that way, you're not the only one in this business. You have a team working together. So take a few minutes and just brainstorm some pathway ideas on how to achieve those goals that you've written down. I'm getting excited. Are you? You've made the decision. We know what our pathway is. And now we have to decide to manage that decision. There's a big difference between making a decision and managing a decision. The secret in the success is what you do every single day. You may be someone that can put full-time hours into the business of Young Living, and probably most of you can only do part-time hours. But here's one thing you cannot do. You cannot do this part of the time. If you commit to this business, you need to make sure that you are doing daily activity. You are going to be doing this part-time, but not part of the time. So what are some daily things that you can be doing every day in order to get to those stepping stones of those goals you have written down? The secret of success is your daily agenda. So that's why we are going to take some time to write down the things that we're committing to. So here's one thing to discuss. If you are a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a baker, I don't care what it is, you have been trained to be that. You have either gone to school or you have learned to do it in some form or fashion. But why is it that network marketers feel like we can just jump in without any training? One of my daily activities that I have written on my list is that I'm going to educate myself every day. I may be reading a chapter in a network marketing book, or I may be reading a chapter in a leadership book, leadership development. I might be listening to a conference call. I might be attending a meeting, but I'm doing something daily that's going to educate me on how to work this type of job, this type of endeavor, this network marketing thing. You have to learn how to do that. You can't just jump in and swim because you won't succeed at that. Educate yourself. Another daily activity of mine is reaching out. Network marketing is all about building relationships. Are you staying in contact with people? Are you building new relationships? That matters. So whether it's sending out a private message on Facebook to someone you haven't talked to in a long time and just starting that conversation, you don't have to attack them with oils, but make sure that you have relationships that you are following up with and keeping in contact with. Because here's one tip. I like to write people on Facebook that I haven't talked to in a while, and I'll say, hey, how have you been? I haven't talked to you in a couple years or a few months, and I really like your pictures you uploaded on Facebook recently. How's life? Are you working somewhere? How old are your kids? And you ask them questions. They usually will respond back with questions being asked back to you. Not all the time, but most of the time, those questions can lead down an opportunity to share the oils with them. Perhaps they say, I keep seeing your posts on Facebook. Tell me more about those oils. Maybe they say, they're really not liking their job, or maybe they're loving their job. And what about you? Do you work? Do you have a hobby? Do you, what are you excited about these days? What's going on new with you? And then it opens up a door to talk about it. So that could be a daily activity. But let's talk about productivity versus activity. So you might say, okay, every day I'm going to organize this, or, ask yourself, is this productive work? Because if one of your activities is like organizing your office, that's not going to get you anywhere as far as productive work. Make sure these activities are productive. They're helping you, obtain or achieve the higher goals here. So take a few minutes to think about that, and remember, you are ultimately planting seeds. Not everyone that you approach is going to jump on the oily train. They may never be interested in it, or it might just be a delay. They may come back later. But the point is, you're planting seeds. You're sharing this information. You're providing a solution to them, and they may come back later. So try really hard to find those 5 daily productive activities that you're going to be doing and you're going to commit to doing, so that you are working part-time and not just part of the time. Guess what? You are always being watched. So this next box, the avoid box, may not be the most exciting box, and frankly, some of you may not like what I'm going to say, but these are things that I definitely think you need to avoid. The first one, don't be the expert, okay? People are going to ask for your advice. People are going to say, what do I use for this? They may even say, what is this? What, my child has a rash. What do you think it is? Please avoid being the expert, because you're not. You are not a doctor. So don't prescribe or diagnose. Instead, point to them where they can find the information. I'm not an expert, but I have reference books that tell me what to do. And I like these websites that give me testimonies. Give them that kind of information versus the diagnosis and the prescription. Now, second one, please avoid venting your frustrations publicly. We all experience frustrations because no company, no person is perfect. So we have frustrations with the company, we may have frustrations with our team members, but here's what we don't want to do. We don't want to complain, because negativity breeds negativity. Now, perfect example, a Facebook business group. I used to have the settings where it was available for anyone to make a post, and now all of my posts have to be approved. And the reason for that is I don't want negative posts on Facebook. I don't want them in the group because someone is always watching. You may have well, actually, there are several new business builders that get added all the time to the Facebook, and they might even be your business builders, but yet then they come online and they see all of your frustrations written out in the group. You may feel free to do that in the group, but it's not a good idea because you don't want to breed that negativity. I am not saying that we do not care about your frustrations, and I am not saying they're not valid. I also am not saying that I want to paint this company as this perfect unicorn, rainbow, no flaws company. Everybody has flaws. Everybody's going to deal with frustrations here and there. But the fact of the matter is the best way to deal with them is to contact Young Living. Contact them, discuss it with them, go upline, talk to about it with your upline. Do not go downline because you don't want to set the pace. You don't want all this negativity to be breeded out throughout your team. Go upline and voice your frustrations there because I promise you, I always do my best to take care of people's problems. And I sympathize with you because many times I've been there too. So please avoid talking negatively, even if it's about a team member. Keep the positivity up. Be a good leader in this. Another thing to avoid, which might make a little of you tickled, because I see you do it, and I used to do it, but here's the thing. We promote a wellness product. These oils have changed our lives. Many of us have been off of medications because of these oils. But why is it that we feel the freedom to post when we're sick? Perhaps you have a cold or a flu or a horrible raging headache. Avoid posting that online. Avoid telling all of Facebook that you have this horrible migraine or that you feel like you're going to die or you've been puking your brains out. Avoid telling Twitter and all of the Instagram followers that you have. Instead of doing that, use your oils and your products and then post the testimony. Imagine what that looks like to someone that has not jumped on the oil train yet, and they're probably interested because they've seen your posts a lot, and then all of a sudden they log on to the internet, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or what have you, Facebook, and they see how sick you are. It doesn't make sense to them. You sell a wellness product and yet you feel like death and you've told the whole world about it. So the difference between that and refraining from posting that, but then using your products and posting the testimony instead. They log on and they see, I felt like death 2 days ago. I was puking my brains out 2 days ago, and I used thieves and peppermint and digize oil, and I feel so much better. I feel worlds better. Imagine what that does to the viewer, because remember, you're always being watched. I'm sure there are other things that you can write down in the avoid box, but those are ones that I really wanted to make sure you were aware of. Enough of the avoid talk. Let's get creative. So how are we going to share these oils with others? Because we already know we can do one-on-ones, class settings, we can blog about it, we can do Facebook parties, online, whatever it is, but let's get creative with this. Let's think outside the box. So here are some ideas that you can write down, and then take some time to get creative yourself and come up with some ideas and then share with us. So here's one thing. Maybe you are a mom that has kids and your friends have kids. So meet up for a park play date. Get together where the kids can play and you can share the oils. Maybe you make a kid class where they get to come and you teach the kids about the oils. I had somebody on our team that came up with this idea and allowed for me to share it with you, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. You post something about the oils, whether it is a conference call, a recorded call, a video, and you tell the person to listen or watch it, and then they have to get back to you with 3 to 5 things that they learned about the oils. And in return, you send them a gift card for a cup of coffee somewhere. Maybe it's Starbucks or wherever it is, a coffee shop local. So that's really cool because you get someone that may not have ever taken the time to come to a class, but they did, the 30-minute call or the video, and they learned something about it. They got rewarded for it, and a lot of times they'll sign up for it. So that was a great creative way to do it. Maybe you do the Facebook, party that I had mentioned earlier, which is a fantastic creative way of getting people involved and seeing what these oils are about. Maybe it's a 1-hour Thursday night class where you post, videos and graphics about the oils and they have a platform in order for them to, ask questions and get engaged, and maybe you do freebies. I don't know what those are for you. There's tons of different ways that you can be creative. Make and takes, especially around the holidays. Maybe you have everybody come over to make a sugar scrub, and while you're making the sugar scrub, you teach them the benefits of the oils that you're using, and then they get to take something home, and maybe it's piqued their interest in the oils more. Tons of creative ways out there. Really want you to brainstorm on this. Write your step down, share it with others, share it with us. Maybe get somebody on your team to brainstorm this with y'all. Come up with something creative. I want to see what y'all come up with. We've made it to the bottom of this worksheet, and I am so thankful that you have stuck with this. We've gotten to the bottom, and this is probably the most important. So are you ready to commit? If you are not familiar with this book, you need to get it. It is the 4-Year Career written by Richard Bliss Brooks. This one happens to be the Young Living edition. The book is not specific to the Young Living company. The majority of the book, this is about Richard Bliss Brooks, his 4-year career, talking about how you can achieve residual leveraged income in 4 years or less. It may take you more, but if you actually do daily work, you can certainly do it in 4 years. What's cool about this book is in the back, you have Young Living personal testimonies from people who are in the Young Living business, and they share their success stories in the back. So this book is fabulous. Since it's 4 years, and since I have achieved this in less than 4 years, I want you to commit to doing Young Living every day, daily activity. Remember, part-time, but not part of the time. So are you ready? If you are, I want you to sign your name there. I, Alana Bookout, commit to my Young Living business for at least 4 years, which means you're going to give it an honest effort. Because many people out in the network marketing world, they say, okay, I'm going to do this. They jump in, they try to swim, and they quit too soon. So if you realized what residual income really is, you would walk through a brick building to get there. Are you ready to walk through that brick building? Are you ready to commit to daily activity for a minimum of 4 years? Because if you are, you're going to be looking at this sheet 4 years down the road, and you are going to be so proud of yourself for making that commitment, because I guarantee you, if you commit daily activity, productive work for a minimum of 4 years, your future will be changed. Your family's future will be changed, and you will be so grateful that you filled out this worksheet. I am so proud of you. I am so excited for you out there, and I cannot wait to see you duplicate this by sharing this worksheet with your team members. Be oily and be blessed. Thanks for watching.